We have a bunch of reviews coming your way today. We're going to be talking about the Scrubs revival. We're going to be talking about the brand new Disney Pixar animation Hoppers, as well as a movie that's currently showing on GSC International called The President's Cake. But before that, Bahe,
Hmm.
I wanted your take
Okay.
on Chalamet.
Shalamalalala.
Chalamet!
Shalamalalala.
So, for those of you who may have missed it, in one of his awards rounds, Timothée Chalamet has been doing a career retrospective. I don't know how at 30
Wow.
you can do a career retrospective.
Has he even done double-digit films?
I think he's done double digit films if you count the Netflix ones and maybe even Interstellar. He was in it for like 10 minutes, but he actually did a screening of that as part of his career retrospective. I think he just wanted to sit down and do a one on one with Christopher Nolan because it adds clout, but he's been doing a career retrospective. And in one of those one on one conversations with Matthew McConaughey, he lets loose a hot take. Actually, not that hot a take on opera and ballet. In the interview, he kind of dismisses them as art forms that nobody wants to watch and says that we have to save cinema so it doesn't end up like that. This clip has kind of blown up on the internet, and to be fair, the opera and ballet people are having a lot of fun at Timothée Chalamet's expense, and good fun. Like, you could put Chalamet as a discount code when you're buying opera tickets in Manhattan, and it's great. However, there is a bigger conversation to be had, and I wanted your take on this because what Chalamet is saying isn't necessarily wrong. Opera and ballet were once mass art forms, but they have since become the purview of the elite. And yes, a lot of people don't care about them. However, I feel it's a big deal because I don't think someone with Chalamet's influence should be putting it down in that sense because it gives license for other people to do it as well.
I genuinely believe he misspoke. I don't think he meant it as ballet and opera are dying or on its last legs, but I think he means maybe irrelevant, maybe not top of mind in terms of entertainment. And that's fair.
I think it stemmed from a cockiness and trying to make a joke that
Yes.
turned out very, very badly for him.
Isn't his sister also a ballet dancer?
His whole family are dancers.
Look, I think he misspoke. I think, if anything, it's a dumb young kid trying to be cool.
Correct.
And to be fair, during his entire Marty Supreme sort of press tour, he has tried to come out a bit more like his character, Marty Supreme, and not quite like a humble Timothée Chalamet, which has shown up previously. I don't think anybody of any note should be writing 300 word think pieces about the death of culture and how Timothée Chalamet is the problem.
Oh, mate, what else will these people write about?
They have to
They
find
are
something else,
waiting. They are
lah.
frothing at the mouth for shit like
Yeah,
this.
well, they have to find something else. This is my take on it. I have gone to the opera. I haven't gone to the ballet. It's not for me, but I'm glad that it's there.
Exactly.
My take on it is very much like the Malaysian theater scene. It's not for me, not my bag of candy, but hey man, you do you. I'm happy for you. And that's fine.
So, my problem with this whole thing is with how fame and society kind of works, in that I don't think that we should be putting this much cred in the words of a 30-year-old who has maybe made 5 good movies. Like, that does not make for a career. I think if you're Jane Fonda, I think if you're Michael Douglas, I think if you're people who have done the time, who have honed your craft, and who know the art, I think then your words carry real weight. But unfortunately, Timothée Chalamet is pop famous, right? He's done a few good movies, and I'm not denying that he's a great actor. I think he's a very good actor. But I think when it comes to hot takes like this, you should take it for what it is. I don't think the entire world needs to blow up about it.
Again, my resolution for 2026, guys, grace. It's okay.
Give people grace.
But also, who gives a shit?
Correct.
Timothée Chalamet is dating a Kardashian. Who gives a shit what he thinks about culture, people? I love the Dune movies. I will see Dune 3. If I can get a chance, I will see Marty Supreme. But why am I concerned about what a guy who's dating? Is she a Kardashian or is she a Jenner? Or does it not matter anymore?
They're all the same lah.
They're all the Kardashians lah. Yeah. He is dating a Kardashian. You're just like, it's okay, bro. You don't know class. I've seen you at basketball games. You don't know how to dress. The opera would not let you in. So it's okay. You can say what you want.
There are two things that annoyed me about this whole situation. One was that the fact that we're taking these words as seriously as we are. The response to that has been fantastic because I think the ballet and the opera community have done very well. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
The other thing that has annoyed me is the sad state of journalism. And all of these people suddenly writing articles like how to lose an Oscar in 10 days. You know what? His statement only went viral after voting closed, you dumbasses. Maybe check the dates on Oscar voting before you decide to write some think piece. And it's not just one person, it's multiple people on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, op-eds in online portals. It's all a load of garbage because none of it matters. Let me tell you this much. If Timothée Chalamet does lose the Best Actor Oscar, the predictor of that was the SAGs, not some stupid thing he said on stage with Matthew McConaughey. The SAGs, which are voted for by actors, were making their point with regards to how strongly they felt about Michael B. Jordan's performance in Sinners. And I think that is the indicator, and threw the whole field up in the air. Once again, I'm going to quote Polymarket by
Good God. Why?
The odds makers now have it that Michael B. Jordan is in the lead.
Wow.
So who knows what is going to happen.
Congratulations. What a hot take.
There you go. And it's got nothing to do with Chalamet's little interview.
I just hope that Chalamet learns from this to just think it through a little longer before shooting your mouth off. Again, we're not parsing his intent. His intent is accurate. If anything, his intent is insensitive. But it's okay lah. Let him say lah. He's dating a Kardashian. It's like, who cares? I cannot take anybody who dates a Kardashian seriously. I'm looking at you, Lewis Hamilton. It's just like, it's okay lah. You guys... Anyway,
let's get on with it. First up on our list of things to review, the Scrubs revival. There have been a whole bunch of classic sitcom revivals over the years. Roseanne, and then after they fired Roseanne, The Conners, Frasier. They did a Murphy Brown revival. They always go back to the popular sitcoms of the past and try and do something. I don't want to use the word new because it isn't new. It's usually just a question of steeping it in nostalgia, right? Like the Will and Grace revival was funny but not great. Actually, all of the revivals had moments, but none of them were truly great. Until now. Scrubs, I don't know what you want to call this. I don't want to call it season 10 because with this revival, they've done away with the terrible events of season 9. And so let's just call this Scrubs 2026. But with Scrubs 2026, the writing is strong, the performances are great, and the atmosphere, the feel of the show, it's like they never left. And I think that's what's key. JD steps back into Sacred Heart, and everything feels so natural and exactly like what Scrubs was. Like, even with the Frasier reboot or revival or whatever you want to call it, so much of it felt forced. Like, I was forcing myself to like it because I love Frasier so much. And this one just feels like they never left. It's so good.
There is a real interesting thing here because everybody who moans and bemoans a revival or continuation of a TV show always moans at the idea of, oh, they're just doing the same thing. It's just going to be the same characters, which we've already seen, doing the exact same things we've been watching them do for the last 12 years, whatever it is. And I widely agree with that sentiment. However, when people try and do something new, say for example the Frasier one, he's no longer in Seattle, he moves to Boston to be with his son. The dynamic is now supposedly changed because it's no longer about Frasier, the middle-aged divorcee, dealing with his weird brother, attractive caretaker for his infirm father. He is now the elder of the family. But the magic is no longer there. There is no longer patter. The characters are no longer the same. And they force it, right? There's the colleagues from the university, doesn't work. There is the son's neighbor with her baby, which doesn't work. They try and drive in all these famous faces from the show, like Roz shows up and you go like, this doesn't fucking work.
And the problem with Frasier is it was never going to be the same without John Mahoney. The
Yeah.
fact that John Mahoney passed away meant that that entire dynamic would change. Even if they got all of the cast back, it just makes it a very different show. And I think what works with Scrubs is the idea that they've acknowledged this growth, that they've acknowledged that all of these years have passed, and how would these same characters react if they were put back into a similar situation?
Yes. So
That's the key.
So this isn't a situation where JD and Turk open their private practice on Miami Beach. It's not that, right? We're back to the scene of the crime of the initial 9 seasons. And it feels the same, but also not. I think what you said just now was quite true in that I kind of have to say this is a season 10. But at the same time, it's a season 10 with a long hiatus. They acknowledge that they're older. They acknowledge that they're in a more senior positions at the hospital. They're no longer just interns or resident doctors, right? So there is growth in character and there is growth in relationship and there is growth in the loss of certain relationships. It is the same ingredients, but it changes up the sort of amount of each ingredient kind of thing.
I think that's what's clever about what Bill Lawrence did, because he creates new conflicts with these same characters after they've grown up. Like JD and Turk are still best friends, but stuff has happened in their lives.
Yes.
Elliot and JD now have to handle being once married and now divorced. Like, how does their relationship cope with having to work together again?
And one of them being the boss of the other.
And one of them being the boss of the other.
Yeah.
All of these things are fascinating dynamics that you play out in your mind when you go, where are they now?
Yes.
And I think that's the cleverest thing that Scrubs does, because if you take Frasier for an example, it's the most recent example. In my mind, the new series ruins the most poignant aspect of that final season, of that final episode when he's on the plane and he's going to Laura Linney. Like, you don't know where he's flying to until the very last moments of that episode. And it's a real great punch you in the heart kind of moment, right? And then the season undoes all of that. And I think the great thing with the Scrubs reboot is that it doesn't undo the end of season 8. Because season 9 kind of does that.
This is the point where I reveal my big secret. I don't watch Scrubs. Like, I've seen episodes, but I don't know what happens at the end of season 9 or 10 or whatever. I know there was an interns series, right?
That was season 9.
That was Dave Franco.
Scrubs, The Next Generation.
Okay, that sounds bad, but all right.
It was.
I know the episodes. Like, I understand the magic of the characters. I know what the relationships are. I get all that, but I've never watched like pilot to finale. But I'm enjoying this though. I'm enjoying this.
Also, can I just say, Black Don't Crack lah.
Black
Donald
don't
Faison
crack, bro.
looks exactly the same. Like everyone else has aged accordingly and appropriately, except Donald Faison.
Zach Braff still looks great.
They
Sarah
all
Chalk
look great.
still looks great. They look great. They look older.
But Turk still looks like a kid.
Still looks like a kid. Yeah.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
really weird.
He still looks fantastic. And you know what? And to be fair, Donald Faison looks the same as he did in Clueless as well. And that was
That's
in
true, though.
1995.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I love Clueless.
But no, it's got
Clueless.
it's got all of the elements. I think if you haven't seen it, it's really worth the watch. It's got all of the elements that you love about Scrubs. And if you were afraid that this was somehow going to ruin it, don't be. Because yes, all of those elements are there. The funny flashbacks, the imagination sequences, the great music, and the core relationships between these characters. Like all of that magic, all of that chemistry hasn't gone away, and it really works.
Looking back, I always remember, oh yeah, the funny bits between Turk and JD, but that first episode really reminded me of the kind of heart at Scrubs. Like when Perry, Dr. Cox, does what he does, of trying to be,
Spoiler
mysterious.
free.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, that's right.
Because I still feel, and Bill Lawrence has done a lot of shows since, and his signature in almost all of his sitcoms is the ability to balance poignancy and emotion with the funny. And I think Scrubs does that very, very well. Like at one moment, someone is making fun of you and insulting you. And at the next, it is an absolutely heart-wrenching thing that happens in the hospital.
But it's never jarring. Bill Lawrence writes it like music. There is a rise before the fall, but then after you've fallen, he will bring you back up slowly.
Like even at the end of that first episode, and there are interns in this as well, and I think the interns are handled a lot better than they were in season 9.
Yeah.
And the interns in this, and I'll tell you what the secret to that is. You know what the secret to that is? The secret to that is that in this season, all of the interns are almost written from the POV of the older people. The problem with season 9 was that they were trying to write it as young people.
I think I've seen a couple of episodes of season 9. I think the problem was that they were trying to shift our point of view from the characters we've been following for 8 seasons to the new characters, right? The new group of interns, because, Zach Braff had left, Sarah Chalk has moved up, Donald Faison has moved up, right? So I think it's like, oh, look at these cool young kids that we're following now. It's the, Steve Buscemi to skateboard meme.
And so at the end of that final episode with these interns, something happens. Something incredibly dramatic and heartbreaking, and it's signature Scrubs. But the way it's handled, even in those moments of heartbreak, the balance of the humor and the heartbreak and all of that stuff is just a masterclass. It's also when JD confronts Turk about why people in the hospital don't like him as much. And Turk doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And there are these fantastic dramatic moments between Zach Braff and Donald Faison. Just really good writing, really good acting, just very emotional stuff. It's just, it's so good. I'm so happy this thing is back.
Yeah.
I'm so happy it's good. I was apprehensive that it was coming back because so many things that I have loved have come back and been bleh. But anyway. Season 10, season 9, let's call it season 9 plus. Season 9 plus of Scrubs is showing on Disney Plus. Check it out if you're a fan of Scrubs. Even if you aren't, I swear watching this will make you want to go back and binge the previous 8 seasons. It is well worth your time. Check it out. Let us know what you think. We're going to talk about The President's Cake. This is a movie by Hassan Hadi. It is his debut feature. Remember that when you watch this movie. He is a first-time feature film director. It's set in Iraq after the invasion of Kuwait, but just before, the Americans, and I say this with inverted commas, liberate them. The story centers around Lamia, who is a 9-year-old girl. And I didn't know this about Iraq. But here they are, suffering economic sanctions. People have no food, not enough water. But the one thing by presidential decree that they all have to do is celebrate Saddam Hussein's birthday. The whole country got to get together and celebrate the great leader's birthday.
They have to have a block party.
They have to have a block party. And everyone has to make stuff for the president in tribute to the great leader. And Lamia, poor Lamia, is selected by lucky draw by this awful fucking abusive teacher. I hate that guy.
He's in 3 scenes.
He's in 3 scenes, but I hate that fucking guy. Anyway, she is asked to make the president a cake. She lives with her ailing grandmother. And from the very first moments of this movie, you know they have nothing. They have less than nothing. And despite having nothing, they need to find flour, water, eggs, and sugar to make a fucking cake.
Yeah.
And so the movie is kind of like this quest adventure of sorts, where it's this little girl who is traversing the streets of Iraq, trying to find ingredients to make this cake. And she has no money. She can barter stuff. It's the best she can do. And along with her best friend, the both of them have to figure out how to make this happen because there are consequences. As this asshole teacher says, this other family who failed to pay tribute was reported because, as a good soldier, I have to report people who fail to do what they're supposed to, and bad things happen to them. I absolutely love this movie. It is a traumatic watch because so many bad things happen, but it's this very neo-realist way of telling bad things that happen. It's been a long time since I've been this angry in the cinema. Like watching people on screen do bad things, and I just am getting worked up every single time. There is a moment when these shopkeepers, they like take her money, and I'm so fucking mad. When they say the money she has is fake.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to confiscate it.
So you're saying it's not fake?
Oh, I think it wasn't fake. I think they just stole her money.
Oh, I just thought it was fake.
No, I think those two guys thought she was a little girl with this much money, and they conspired to steal it and then kick her out of the store. Like, who are they to confiscate money? They aren't the police.
But I just thought that the guys were like, oh, you are just trying to pass off fake money. I'm going to take all of this so you don't try it again with someone else. Get the fuck out of my store.
Oh, I think...
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
think
interesting.
they
Okay.
saw 10,000 and went, all right, time for me to make some monies.
Okay. Like I said, grace, bro. 2026. That's where I'm at.
I know, but we don't have to give grace to assholes.
But that's the point, right? You don't know that they're assholes. I'm choosing to admit that they're not assholes.
Everyone in the movie was an asshole, man.
Pretty much everybody else in the movie is an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just quickly get it out of the way, okay? The movie is co-written by Eric Roth.
Yes.
Just putting it out there. Chris Columbus was the executive producer. Doesn't mean anything. I'm not saying Chris Columbus was on set shooting this thing. I'm not saying Eric Roth was on set shooting this thing. But it's worth noting. If you were having doubts about catching this film, Chris Columbus thinks it's good enough for him to produce it. Eric Roth wrote the damn thing. So it's worth your time. Anyway. No, I agree with you. I think there was something... This is the anti-Japanese everyday film.
Yes.
I've really gotten into loving Japanese slice of life movies
where nothing happens,
but it's always sort of like beautiful and serene and chill. Like the worst thing that could happen is you see your love interest holding hands with another girl and you're like, my life is over. But then I go home and make cakes or something. This one is the opposite of that. Everything is fucking hard from minute one.
And also, everything happens all the
Everything
time.
happens all the time. It's always hard. And I have no doubts this is the kind of life that was happening at that time.
And I think that's what's really cool about the way Hassan Hadi shoots it, right? Because he shoots it almost with a documentarian lens.
Mm.
And so it feels like you're witnessing life under a dictatorship. Like there is a moment when her grandmother loses her in the city, right? And that's why she's on her own and trying to figure this out by herself. And her grandmother goes to a police station and is standing there and is demanding they look for her granddaughter and tells them that I am not leaving here until you find her or do something. And I swear to God, I've seen sequences like that in documentaries. And it feels so real. And I think that's a really interesting lens that he has put on this movie because it makes me feel tense. It makes me feel the same way I would feel watching a documentary about Iraq and Saddam Hussein.
But it's also the way he shoots it, right? He doesn't go in close up to the grandmother, sort of aching and pleading and shouting and screaming. You're almost in the room, standing awkwardly against the wall, trying not to make eye contact with anybody who's going through this moment, anybody who's shouting and screaming right now. You're just like, it feels really awkward to be in that police station.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everything is shot that way. I think even when the two kids are running through the streets, do we know where it is? Did they say?
They just say the city. So I don't think it's Baghdad, but they just say we're going to the city.
Because I looked it up. So apparently where she was staying was the Mesopotamian marshes and southern Iraq, which just is fucking great. I think there was something about that setting which makes it different. There was something about the way the director shot the two kids running around the city. They are running in and out of crowds. The camera is never directly on them. It doesn't feel like clear the way of the lens so I can see the two kids do their thing. I don't know. I agree with you. I think there was something about this movie that really struck a weird chord in me.
And the reason I go back to that documentary feel is because as you're watching this, you feel helpless in that you want to do something and you can't. There's another moment, and I won't give it away, but there's another moment with a helpful old man. And I'm just like, wait, is this guy being an asshole or is he truly helpful? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And I'm always on edge because even the way he set up all of these characters, like he set up bad person, bad person, bad person, bad person. And you're like, is the next person a bad person? Is she going to have some luck? Is the next person a good person? Like that narrative structure and the way he builds up her quest is so good.
There is also something to be said about how the people who live in the marshes are also considered of lower standing.
Right.
So when, for me, I saw that most when the grandmother walks into the police station. The police officers are literally brushing her off. You have to wait 24 hours before you can report this. Maybe she'll come back. Just go home. She will show up. But she was obviously saying, no, you have to go find her, blah, blah, blah. But the police officers really were not taking it seriously. And at that moment, a part of my brain went, is this classist? Is this a racial thing? And apparently it might be, because the people who live in the Mesopotamian marshes are considered sort of lower class. But I think it was beautiful in that none of that was a thing. We didn't need a 30-second monologue from someone calling these people, oh, you are just marsh Arabs, you are dirty people, considered to us less dirty people. So, I didn't need all that. Yeah.
If you know, you know, but also even if you didn't know, the movie is shot in such a way that you get the message.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think tonally, it is a real masterclass. It feels like he's been making these things for years because there is such a balance with humor. There are genuinely funny moments with tension and even the darkness. There's no melodrama. Like you said, Bahe, it doesn't feel like it's overwrought. It just feels like, hey, we've been living this life for years. So even when bad shit happens, it happens lah.
Yeah. And-
Yeah.
but even when bad things happen, it feels like there's no malice.
Right.
It's difficult to
just
say.
life.
It's just life, right? The thing we were talking about earlier about the two men from the cake shop who steal these two kids' money, whether or not it's fake. The kids just like, we lost all the money. They're not sitting on the cobblestones just like, I lost all the money, like picking up stones to try and break the glass, right? They're not bitching and whinging and moaning. They're just like, easy come, easy go. Oh well.
Yeah.
Like I sold my father's watch, which I've loved forever. Which might feel unrealistic to, I suspect, an American audience, to a Western audience. That lack of response might feel inauthentic. However, I feel like if you've lived under the regime like this, especially because on some level, these kids live on the marshes in reed houses. They literally don't have anything anyway.
And you can't have that sort of attachment.
Yeah. It's just like, okay.
It's my dead father's watch, but money is more important. I have to bake this cake.
Those guys stole it. Maybe it is fake. Maybe it's not. Wallahu alam.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Literally. Only God knows. So it's just like, sila, whatever lah. And they just move on.
Tonally, the way the movie was shot, these are all non-professional actors, mind you.
Yeah.
Everything just works. It was the Iraqi entry for Best International Feature for this year's Academy Awards. It made the short list, but it didn't make the nominations.
Yeah. But it won at Cannes, right?
It won
Director's
at
Fortnight.
Cannes, yeah.
Yeah.
But it really is a worthy film. I mean, we're really privileged to be able to watch this on the big screen. And let me tell you, it's well worth watching on the big screen because it is beautiful.
It is beautiful. I don't know what I was expecting, but a couple of those shots in the Mesopotamian marshes, just with the way the sun was setting or the sun was rising, it's just like beautiful. Even just driving on dusty roads, there were some bits there that was just magic.
Oh, the driving on the dusty roads.
That
when
last
they're in
one.
the taxi. Oh,
Yeah, that last one. The
At
last one when she's riding back. Yeah.
amazing.
Beautiful.
Just, yeah, go watch The President's Cake. It is showing at selected GSC locations. Have a look on their website. Have a look on the app. It is well worth your time. It is yet again one of those rare things that we never get to see in Malaysian cinemas, but it's here.
But also, if you consider yourself a fan of cinema, if you're excited for watching Begonia and Hamnet and all of those other things that you think are great films, and those are great films, I think you should catch this too, because this is also a very, very good film.
Moving on to Pixar's latest offering. This one is called Hoppers. It is in cinemas from the 19th of March, but there are sneak previews in IMAX this weekend, so you can catch it early. And it tells the story of Mabel, a young lady, a 19-year-old, who is trying to save a little patch of forest and glade near her grandmother's old house. It tells that story by way of some Avatar-like shenanigans where her doctor professor at the university has somehow discovered a way to transfer human consciousness into robot animals so that they can live among the animals and discover new things about them.
Sorry, quickly, just want to say, don't think too much about it. Just take it at face value and move on.
Right off the bat, this is tier 1 Pixar. This is the kind of Pixar that we grew up watching, that we love, that is objectively fucking great. Like, it has all of those elements. It's got a powerful message. It's got great humor, great music. It features a protagonist that you fall in love with immediately. Like, it begins in the past, and Mabel is trying to save all the animals who are in cages in her school. And she's stuffing all of them into her backpack. And it's a great opening 5 minutes because it tells you everything you need to know about this character. Like, that is phenomenal writing. There are barely any words spoken, and yet you recognize this character immediately. You're like, wow, that is a cool person. I know who this is. That's how the movie kicks off. We then meet her grandmother. It flashes forward to the present, where John Hamm plays the evil mayor, Jerry, who is trying to build a highway, and this will sound familiar to many Malaysians, that will shave off a great 4 minutes off your travel time. But in so doing, he is destroying this habitat. Like, that is the central conflict. And then it is this wild, hilarious adventure with animals. And this movie goes places and doesn't pull its punches and really embraces the silly. And I can't get enough of it.
It embraces the silliness completely and thoroughly. That's what I meant earlier about the wishy-washiness of being transferred Avatar style into these animals. It's okay. They show you how it's done, but the math doesn't work. But that's all right. Don't worry about it. And there's just something about that simplicity coupled with a story that is timely, poignant, heartfelt, and at times pretty emotional, just makes this a hell of a ride. For me, it's just the simplicity of what happens when Mabel first becomes the beaver. She learns of the
pond rules.
The pond rules. Where Mabel first becomes the beaver and she learns of the pond rules. And I think there's something so simple in those pond rules that I think we all forget sometimes. In Hoppers, it's like, no, when you're hungry, you eat. It's pond rules, right? That's fine. There was something really sweet about this. This is one of those Pixar movies that, to me, has got a message behind the message.
Yes.
In that, yes, there's an upfront sort of like environmental thing and all that stuff. But I gotta say, throughout the entire movie, I was thinking to myself, Mabel's a bitch. Mabel is the problem in a lot of these moments. And I get it. Mabel needs to learn that, right? That is the thing, right? She needs to learn that her way is not always the best way, and just fighting is not always the answer.
Mabel is the single-minded activist.
Yes.
But the lesson she learns along the way is what Bahe has been preaching all year about giving people grace.
Yes.
I mean, the movie has a very strong environmental message, but behind that environmental message, as part of the pond rules, is this notion that we're all in this together. And I think that is the most powerful message, not just for kids, mind you, but there are a whole bunch of grown-ups that can probably learn a lot from it as well. And I think that's the message behind the message in this movie. But what I appreciate most about Hoppers, I think it has some of the strongest world building that we've seen in a Pixar movie in a very long time. Like, the animal kingdom as portrayed within this glade, brook, pond type area is so complex. Like, the ideas of the council and the different kings and leaders, and all of it is very, very funny. It's like summoning an apex predator, and like all of these elements really build out the mythology in a really cool way, and it's also incredibly funny.
I also love the fact that it isn't a stop in your tracks, here's the mythology, let me teach you by way of, fancy graphics done by, I don't know, glowworms or something. No, you just pick it up as you go. What do you mean he's the king? I don't understand. And then what is the council? And then they're just like, they'll teach you as it becomes important. When somebody says call the apex, you go like, what is going on? And then the apex shows up and you go like, okay, I get it. I get it now. Yeah.
It's very, very cleverly written. The characterizations are great. And all of the animals, all of those personalities just are fantastic. Like, it's very different from a Zootopia. Because a Zootopia centers around animals who are standing in for humans. And so it's essentially just stretching out that metaphor. In this one, the animals are animals. And they remain animals. It just so happens that Mabel has been avatared into a robot and can speak to them. But they're still animals and behave like animals. They aren't surrogates for humans. And I think that's the difference. I really love this movie. I want to watch it again. It's one of those Pixar movies that's going to go into my regular rotation.
I agree with you. I just wish some of the pop tracks were a little better.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed the pop
I
tracks.
don't know. I thought the pop tracks were okay.
Oh really? I enjoyed them because it's music that doesn't get used in movies much.
Like I would have liked slightly more famous songs,
Right.
songs that people could like sort of recognize. More people will recognize rather.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Tiny nitpick.
It's not even a nitpick. It's
Yeah.
it's a
It's a
small
personal
sort of-
preference.
it's an aside. The movie stands. I mean, there are a couple of really great. We say the Avatar thing, and if you see in the trailer, you get it. But there's also kind of like a heist Mission Impossible thing a bit as well. There's a real sort of buddy thing between George and Mabel.
Yes.
I love Loaf. I love the bear. You know,
There's
she's
a
in
Back to the
poster.
Future element in the relationship between Mabel and Doc.
That was a great line drop. Yeah. This for me was a 10 out of 10. Easy.
Very easy. It's the kind of stuff I think Pixar does best. Like, there is a distinct difference these days between a Disney movie and a Pixar movie. And there is a difference in style as well. When you watch a Frozen or a Moana or a Zootopia, it's very different from what Pixar is trying to do. Disney animations build out these worlds. And their primary function, of course, is to create franchises, is to populate their theme parks. I'm not saying they don't tell great stories. I mean, Frozen is fucking great. But I think the Pixar movies or the Pixar approach is to really drill down on a concept and then grow it out from there.
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very clever. Like for me, the closest overlap is something like Zootopia. Because there is this concept of Zootopia which they expand on in every movie. And we see in the closing credits of Zootopia 2, whenever Zootopia 3 happens, it's going to grow out that world some more. But Pixar movies always feel like that. It's the, what if toys were alive? What if monsters did this thing? Like there's always a
There's a
single
question.
line elevator pitch type
Yeah.
question, right?
Yep.
And I think Hoppers kind of delivers on that. I think it delivers on the simplicity of that question.
It's something that most people forget. If you can't pitch your film in 3 lines, it's hard for you to write a film because your movie needs to be simple enough to explain it to someone. That is why those early movie trailers worked, because the concept was simple. You don't need to, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. It's like you can't sell. I mean, you can sell spectacle, but you can't write a story based around spectacle. You have to write your spectacle based around your story.
But also, there are genuine surprises in this. Like, there were real moments of me going, what the fuck?
Real genuine moments of character surprises, right? It's not just something gets dropped in, which was great when they did it. I loved it. But there were also character movements. And I thought that was fantastic as well.
And it goes back to what you said about Mabel not being the perfect protagonist. She is a flawed character, but an interesting character. Because she believes what she is doing is the right thing. And it is the right thing. It's just the way she's doing it that is
Correct.
flawed.
Yes.
And she understands his character flaw. It's a character flaw that is introduced from the opening seconds of the movie when her grandma tries to teach her how to control her temper. And so right from that moment, you know who you're dealing with as a character. And it plays out beautifully, and how they address those flaws and how she eventually overcomes them. Really good stuff. Really great storytelling. This is the Pixar we love. This is tier 1 Pixar storytelling, and we think you should go watch it with your kids, with your family. There's plenty for you here as well. It's not just for the little ones, and you will not be disappointed. So Hoppers, sneak peeks this weekend on premium screens, on IMAX, and I think the kids halls as well. and it opens proper next Thursday in Malaysian cinemas. So there's some Raya watching for you as well. Check it out. Check out all of these movies and TV shows. Let us know what you think. You know how to reach out. We're on Instagram, GogglerMY. You can also email us on podcast@goggler.my or send us a WhatsApp on the Goggler hotline 012-524-5208. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Goggler Podcast.